Hello everyone, this is Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. So here we are in tier 39 with quite a bit of lift. This is the most I've ever had in Ether raids, and well, we'll go straight into the replays, but before that I just wanted to mention that someone wanted me to was liking the newer format where we don't just like casually show the results before going into the match. They wanted to see combat animations, so I figured, it's a bit extra time for the videos, of course, but why not? The game has animations, we should probably use them. So I'll try and remember from here on out to include the animations, but if I'm in like a time constrained situation, like there's half an hour left in the season, I might have to just not include the animations, so we can actually show all the replays. But without further ado, let's get straight into the first replay. So this week, another meme fest shenanigan. I don't know what to say. Like, I know to some degree this defense is fine, but it's not very good. We'll just leave it at that. This week we decided to meme and run deflect missile, however you want to pronounce it, on Seliph, because why the heck not? It did come in handy this week, of course, because naturally people are going to bring dual in against such a defense. And of course the main gimmick of this week is turn 1 Glacie's bonus legendary Julia just packing a massive punch. So let's see what we get. I haven't even watched all the replays, so I don't know what we're gonna get. Seems pretty standard, just getting set up. A bit slow on the setup in my opinion, but yeah. And as per usual, we'll just commentate, of course, but which is something not very many people do in Ether Raids replays, because people just tend to like simply watching the replays. They don't really need anyone commentating over it, but I just commentate for the memes. But you can see here they're taking quite a long time to set up, probably for good reason, because they only have Peony as their dancer, even though they have their duo skill and Lyn. It's non-trivial, you can't just do anything willy-nilly. But yeah, I've not seen animations in a long time. Good old stuff. Except they use their duo skill here to pick up the kill on Bramamon, because of course this is the unmerged Bramamon, but it's still Bramamon. He's going to pack a punch. And they decide to do this, and well, I mean, what to say? The AI is hyperlinear. It's not surprising that Seliph was going to get danced and pick up the kill on dual Lyn, and of course the isolated Sylvia, so she can't dance. But Seliph gets to proc Ignis Pog. That's another thing that's changed since last time. Seliph has 2 cooldown Ignis. It's like, if dual Lyn can't kill in 2 shots and isn't like teching guard or something via ruse or just straight up her B slot running guard, then he'll retaliate with an Ignis, which most likely kills. There are some particular dual Lyns that can survive the Ignis and just quad Seliph, thereby killing him likely, because deflect missile doesn't work after you counter on the 3rd hit a dual Lyn attacks, so yeah.
You can't escape me.
But Shannon putting in some work here, just doing his thing. But here they decide to surrender because Bramamon being Bramamon, even though he doesn't have low attack res, he still has a pretty decent attack stats, and he's got Luna, so they're going to drop another unit at this point. So, on to the next one. And here we have good old armor shenanigans. Even level 7 Bolt Tower in column 4. not a lot of seals. I feel like you should probably be using some seals, and they're running a +1 far save Brave Hector, of course, and near save on Gustav. So just in general, pretty solid core. It'll definitely beat a decent chunk of defenses. So we'll see what they do here. I haven't watched this one either. So they decide to hit end turn here. So now cast your bets. What's going to happen next? So here we have the meme of the week again is Legendary Julia. This is the most ideal scenario where she has attack Res Oath procced without panic. She procs Virtuous Naga on everyone. And she gets to initiate with a 93 attack and 67 res. That is a 53 damage Glacies. So naturally, yeah. Kaboom. So you can't just casually hit end turn. But here Gustav decides to attack Seliph. 75% damage reduction kicks in. And Seliph can't proc his shenanigans because of guard, but Gustav is unable to kill Seliph, which you know what that means. We have this Bramamon barely surviving a shot from Brave Edelgard, so he can do a slightly bit more damage. And this Bramamon cannot stop Brave Edelgard, but the Wings of Mercy one can. And so that's another kill. Kaboom. And now at this point, they're not really in a great spot here. Seliph has Vantage here, and Gustav cannot proc his weapon in that instance, so no 75% damage reduction. And Seliph trolling with Vantage, but he can't one-shot a lot of stuff. So, like Peony, so that's just a kill there, but at this point, there's not really much they can do. Legendary Julia is just gonna go on her rampage against Milla. Just a massive amount of damage. 101 damage. Oh man. It's very fun this week having bonus Legendary Julia. Kinda surprised I didn't see more of her on when I was fighting on offense, because it is Earth season. And she has a pretty solid unit on defense for against specific units. She's not the greatest, but it is pretty fun when she's almost maxed out. Still have to give her some other skills and stuff, but she's pretty solid. Light and Dark, of course, really hard carrying some matchups, but on to the next one. But yeah, I kind of think that if we're gonna have animations, these videos are gonna get quite a bit longer. That's just the nature of the animations. A completely unmerged team, but it is Legendary Leaf, because it is water season, so you can use him without a problem. And definitely ran into Legendary Leafs on defense. Definitely annoying for Nino, especially with any lull to defense. It just makes Nino's life harder. Here they decide to go attack Legendary Julia. They do 2 shots, so they can proc good ol', I don't know how to pronounce it, Nirunzil. I give up. Here they decide to take out Bramond as well. And they decide to dance a peony here. But of course, again, the AI is so linear. We all know Seliph's going after Leaf. I feel like they could have done something here to force Seliph to move down if they had, for example, broke the street lamp. I don't exactly know who Seliph's after, but I feel like he might be after Freya because he does get Ignis, but I don't think the AI factors in specials for pathing or whatever. But yeah, it's not a great spot for them. Divine Tearfing is a thing. Ignis is a thing. Bramimon's still a thing. It's not ideal to drop a unit anyways, so they just decide to surrender here. And here we go, another Dual Lin, this time with 2 dancers. With Dual Lin, you definitely, if you're trying to roll enemy teams, you typically do need at least 2 dancers, because then you can get up to 4 attacks with Dual Lin. More if you have a harmonized hero like harmonized Tiki or whatnot, who can use their harmonized skill to proc on Dual Lin to get more actions. But in general, yeah, you just 1 dancer. It allows for like hit and run, maybe pick off 2 units, but some 2 units against dark defenses tends to be a bit suspicious, to say the least. But they go in here, attacking Legendary Julia, of course, because no one's going to try and tank her Glacies. That's conceptually a big problem, you know, trying to face tank Glacies. It can be done, but you have to have a pretty solid unit to do it. Damage reduction, of course, would help a crud ton. But they decide here to go ahead and take out 3 of our units here. They have Nils isolated, so they can use their duo skill to get Lin out of the way, because of course she does not want to be in range of Seliph. But of course, Seliph does have Deflect Missile, so Lin can't just casually attack into him. So they instead go off for the juicy Nils kill. And they also get the dagger debuff off, I guess. And they decide to run here. Probably because they can't quite take out Seliph and Bramimon's still chilling there. But Dual Lin going in again to attack. Takes out Bramimon, because of course, besides Seliph, basically no one on my team can survive. Survive Dual Lin, because no one has a defense stat. But Seliph is unable to survive Peony here, so he just gets taken out, and that's just a win for them. Helps Peony with bonus, but I don't think it would have mattered. It might have mattered, I don't know. But we have Legendary Julia bonus, so it's totally fair, Kappa. And we're on to this team here, loaded up on offense structures. Yep. Good old shenanigans, another Dual Lin, plus 10 Brave Edelgard, plus 10 Kronia, and good old Peony. So let's see what they're up to here. Just getting set up. I'm not exactly sure what they're going for here, honestly. It's a bit interesting to say the least. Okay, they activate the heavy or bolt trap. Not sure why you would do that. But sure, now Kronia is down on HP, which is not ideal. Oh, interesting. Okay, she takes out Bramimon, but she's kinda stuck. Wait, what? I don't know about you. Just ignoring the fact even if Healing Tower didn't exist, Kronia obviously wasn't going to be one-shotting Seliph any day of the week. I'm not sure what that play was. But I have watched this replay, and I'll actually leave it as an exercise for the viewer to verify that even though Legendary Julia is getting hit by chill attack defense, that's when you know something's really wrong, when Legendary Julia is getting hit by chill attack defense and not like Seliph. But ignoring that, even if Brave Edelgard procced Far Save against Legendary Julia initiating, Legendary Julia actually gets the exact one-shot. Again, I'll leave it to the viewer to verify that, but that's pretty wild. Definitely not rigged at all in any way. But Kronia wasn't going to one-shot Self anyways. And so now Self can pick up another kill and absolutely obliterate with Ignis. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Legendary Julia's Glacies hurts quite a bit, but she's out to go for some other weaker units. And because of Wings of Mercy, Bramamon can pick up the kill on Dual Lin. And it's not very great for them now because Seliph still exists. And Brave Edelgard is not going to enjoy that. Not very much. And of course, Legendary Julia has Glacies back up again, so we all know what's going to happen if she were to attack Brave Edelgard, because again, even with our save proct, Brave Edelgard gets one shot exactly by Legendary Julia, thanks to Light and Dark, of course. The -2 res is what does it. But yep, moving on to the next one. And no surprise, it's another Dual Lin. Hey, who would have thought? But seriously, ever since Hero Rises finished and everyone got Dual Lin, of course you're going to see her around in Ether Raids because she is a solid unit for picking off a lot of teams that just have really squishy units because they're going hyper offensive, or it's just an easy team to Gale Force, because not a lot of teams specifically go out of their way to tech against Gale Force. If anything, it'll be like turn 1 trap shenanigans with like return or whatnot, or restore, anything of that nature. Or something like Cavline, where they just apply a lot of turn 1 pressure, so people who have a lot of offense structures like this person can't get any time to set up because they have to bait turn 1. But Bramamon here getting taken out by Elise. Elise, super solid gravity. Her refine's pretty decent. It's not mind-blowingly amazing, but it is pretty solid. And they go for the Legendary Julia kill. Again, no one wants to tank her Glacies. I want to see someday someone actually get a unit to tank. It is possible, it's not impossible. You could even simply do it by just HP stacking and using Flame for the damage reduction. Or just use a really high res damage reduction unit. Because if you don't have high enough res, Legendary Julia just does too much base damage, so even with 40% damage reduction, you could get one shot. So an interesting maneuver here. They decide to just hit end turn like this, thereby having Lin bait Seliph, which obviously is not a good idea with Divine Tearfing. If this was just Tearfing Seliph, then sure, that would work. The main thing is Bramamon has gravity on him, so but because of Divine Tearfing, Seliph actually has a player phase kappa, so Dual Lin gets taken out, and they decide to surrender here because they can probably get a clean sweep match. They can definitely close out this match, but probably isn't worth. But anyways, moving on to the next one. And here we see good old Altina, Legendary Julia and company. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised not more people haven't used Vantage against my defense, but I guess that's what happens when it's just a bunch of rando units sitting around in what people call the T formation, because it kind of looks like a T, the letter T. But they're just getting set up here, and of course we don't have Duo's Hindrance, so they're free to use their Harmonized skill for Vantage.
The two of us together, of course.
And because of Brave Lucina, of course, she's going to have quite a bit of attack. Even against like Legendary Julia, for example, let's just assume, she's not hit by Bright Shrine or anything, which she can't be hit by Bright Shrine. But pretending she couldn't anyways, even against Legendary Julia, that is um, like 70, 79 attack. They are running Ether though, which is kind of suspicious in my opinion, but it does make sense. The idea is you just want to be able to get a big heal off, but I kind of feel like Twin Blades would be better. That's my opinion. So if Legendary Julia somehow could attack first, it might be feasible for something to go wrong. But of course, if you just have an attack stat, you don't even need to care about all the shenanigans. But Bramon here with Luna. Of course, Altina doesn't have that much res, so he's not gonna one-shot, and that's our only Hardy Bearing unit. So that's just the Ripperino. There's not much we can do about it at this point. And now Legendary Julia is going somewhere. not sure where she's going, but here they don't even need their special to kill. It's just straight up exactly enough attack to kill. So you can see in that instance that I guess either way Legendary Julia wouldn't have been able to survive 2 hits from Altina, because in this particular spot Peony wasn't even buffing with drive attack, so. But yeah, I guess the Ether is also for matchups where there is Duo's Hindrance. It's probably a tech against that, to be honest, because then you can get some healing, because at the end of the day, Altina is not a trivially frail unit. She does have pretty decent base bulk. Of course, her speed's not ideal, so getting doubled is an issue. But if you just have to take like a counter and then attack back twice, you can, and kill, you can probably still win using Altina, even without your harmonized skill, just because she is pretty tanky. And they're running Times Pulse for 4 cooldown Ether, so if Brave Lucina, if it's not against like Bramamond, she can proc Ether in 1 round, assuming she doesn't one-shot the enemy. So, you know, there's definitely some merit to this idea. But anyways, enough rambling. Let's move on to the next replay. And here we have a Legendary Claude, Brave Hector and company. Alright. Pretty standard, plus 10. Yeah, I definitely need to plus 10 my Milla at some point. Mostly just for the scoring, but unironically, she could be useful in Arena. Just because she's pretty bulky. She has Nurturing Breath to just passively buff. And she comes with Sabotage Attack, which can be a useful debuff for tanking units. Could also backfire, of course, so might not want to use that. But if we did plus 10 Milla, that should be pretty solid for Arena. She already comes with, you know, dual Rally Plus and stuff. So she could definitely be an option when it's light season, of course, for optimal scoring. Or even when it's not. Like, if we're not even using blessings, it doesn't matter, of course, but here they decide to hit end turn with Brave Hector, because why wouldn't you? The main thing to note here is, of course, they weren't just going to casually hit end turn with Fallen Star, because it only reduces damage from the foe's first attack during the unit's first combat in any phase, and obviously in that position, Legendary Cloud was going to take more than 1 combat. So they decided to hit end turn here. But we all know what's going to happen next, because we got Glacies. So you can't hit end turn like that if you don't have enough bulk. It's just not going to happen. Just too much damage. But here, with the 80% damage reduction, Claude's just going to easily shrug off Legendary Julia, even though she would have gotten close to exact lethal. But they decided to surrender here because, of course, they lost a unit. But also, it's not a great matchup here. Soloff is still an issue, and the other mythics are going to have some problems. So, But likely they just dropped the unit and didn't want to continue here. But anyways, we'll move on to our last replay for the week. Here we go. Looks like this is a bunch of dancers and legendary leaf. Totally a feasible strategy. Hardy bearing even to tech against like Vantage, aka units like myself. But Self is running deflect missiles, so it is kind of non-trivial in that respect. But they have a lot of dancers, so obviously this is similar to Dual Lin, but these are Cav units, so you can't run he's a Cav archer. You can only run disarm trap on whatchamacallit, on dagger units. But he is running escape route, which means ultra hit and run is possible. Like you could murder an enemy, like let's say you took out Nils. You could I guess the problem is the dancer would be stuck, but you can run pretty far away with escape route if you want to. It's an option. Of course, the catch with escape route is you aren't running S drink. So Nirun Zeal is at 3 cooldown, which means you have to initiate twice. Maybe more if you one-shot everything for some reason. But you have the dancers for that, so you don't have to worry there.
With this dance, you'll be enchanted.
But they use their Harmonize skill here because, of course, Harmonize Dorothea has her Harmonize skill for that. And, well, they do successfully run away here. But Seliph is a looming threat, of course, because he's just kind of there. With Divine Tearfing, so he actually has somewhat of a player phase. You decide to dance here and take out Nils. But of course, Seliph is still standing there, so you gotta get Leaf out of the way. And so they do, but of course, it's turn 6 now, and Seliph, again, is still standing around. Leaf is actually unable to kill Sylvia, probably because of sudden panic. But it's not really much of a problem, because they have all the dancers in the world. It looks like they decide to attack into Seliph with air. Probably because of Deflect Missile, so Legendary Leaf couldn't kill. And Peony's running Daylight, and with only 52 attack against 67 HP and what was 32 res in Divine Tearfing. Yeah, that wouldn't have gone too well. But it looks like they still can't kill Seliph, and now he's after Peony, but it looks like, ooh, they barely pick up the kill here. Yeah, it's just enough with Peony's Flower of Joy. And so they're able to barely pick that up there. Otherwise, they would have had to, you know, like have Peony attack. And Peony has drive attack here. Man, that was close. That was a close call for them. Yikes. That could have ended much more poorly if they did, for example, did not have drive attack. Then they would probably have to sack another unit like Peony to finally kill. But with that, that is all our replays for the week, so pretty jank week. Somehow we managed to cheese our way with successes, and we ended up only getting minus 104 lift. And with that, we're easily making top 1k, because I'm gonna be real, if top 1k needed more than this, that would just be mind-boggling. Because the amount of mythic merges you need to be able to score this high is quite a bit. I gotta say, quite a bit. So, we'll make top 1k, which is pretty sick. And of course, we're going to only make second tier here, but tier 39 by a huge margin. We're running a plus 208 offense team, so if we play well, then we get more stuff. it could have been a bit better because, again, there was that one match early in the week where I just casually had Caden in range of Bramamon for absolutely no reason, so we could have gotten 21,224, but wouldn't have made a difference in terms of the leaderboards, because if we like look at top players, yeah, we're not obviously going to be at the very top, but usual people up here we can see. Bit laggy for some reason, but yeah, we're a ways away from ever reaching the front leaderboard by the top of the leaderboard by the end of the season. We're a ways away from there, but yep, that's Resonant Battles dropping like we saw in the Resonant Battles episode. Arena, like I mentioned in the Resonant Battles episode, we just gave up. I spent 225 dueling crests, a bit more, but I started counting when I was at 1,225, and we only got 2 758s, and for this week in tier 21, I know 3,852 is guaranteed enough. 3,850, which is what I was going for, because 760s wouldn't show up. Was what I was going for. It was suspicious though, but even if it didn't make it, you know, I still would have wanted to do it anyways, just to try, give it a go. Because what are we gonna do with 1.2k dueling crests but use them in arena, you know what I mean? And then they're going to update something where dueling crests are actually useful, and I'm like, well, I guess that's a rip, but yeah. We just could not get 758s for the life of us. I still can't get any. I was trying a bit more today. They're just not showing up. And the 2 matches I did have 758, it was the same team on the same map, so definitely not rigged in any way. Very unfortunate, but the team at the end of the day was only scoring 746 to 760. But I did expect, you know, you should be able to get max roll -2. It is pretty typical to be able to do that. Getting max rolls is typically not feasible for a lot of teams, but I tried everything, manipulating my score a little bit around that range, but it just did not. Nothing worked. So we're dropping, but it's fine. It just means, unfortunately, that on week 3 of the rotation, when we're back in tier 21, we gotta try and stay, I think, because typically when you're trying to stay in tier 21 as much as you can, you always want to be in tier 21 at the start of the next bonus rotation. So because if you have a favorable bonus unit, you can immediately start staying in tier 21 during the next bonus rotation. Anyways, enough rambling. We got an insane score in Arena Assault, literally just my first run of the week. Very lucky on the RNG. And I'm like, where are these matches in my Arena run, you know? But my Arena Assault team is like 756 to 766, so it's kind of expected you would get a lot of 758 plus matches, but we actually got a couple 764s and stuff, so pretty lucky. But of course it's not top 50. Top 50 right now I think is like 5,358 or something. It's gone up ever since Legendary Claude, and in general people trying a bit more in Arena Assault. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, so we'll be back when the results drop in. Okie dokie, let's see here. Yeah, just solid ranking. The cutoff was, I don't know, somewhere like mid 21,100 something for top 1k. So yeah, we managed to cheese out a much better season than we should have gotten realistically, because, well, let's just say people sabotage themselves a bit. But this is the season where I really want to stay in Vault of Heaven, because next week's bonus is Milla and someone else. I can't. It's Milla and I don't remember the other mythic on defense, but it would be fun to meme again. Milla bonus honestly would not cause my old defense layout a concern because we get isolated anyways. But yeah, I might consider giving Marianne an Astra Blessing and giving it a go with her as my carry. But that sounds like a terrible idea because at the end of the day, mine is minus res, so I mean minus defense. The plus res is great, minus defense is like 15 base defense. It'll be like 24 base defense if I use Naga, but still, that's pretty atrocious. And she'll only have like 66 HP or something if I use Beetle Infantry Floor, which I would probably end up using. I don't know, it's quite suspicious. At least her res would be okay. She could probably take a few zeros from some healers and whatnot, but yeah, and she could get follow-up attacks because, you know, there's Regan, there's Altina, there's Naga, there's Racing, there's like literally all the units on my team proc her weapon. But I don't think it's gonna work. I'll probably consider giving it a go though, because next week we can just use whoever because we're demoting to tier 20. Yeah. There's not much we could do. What's happened's gone past us now. It's just unfortunate that we just could not get 758s to show up. I tried goofing around with score and whatnot, just did not happen. But pretty solid showing for Arena Assault because we luck sacked our one run for the week. And Allegiance Battles, of course, to be determined, and Mjolnir Strike. We were not able to stay during Astra Major because the cutoff went up again as expected. I was at the borderline cutoff of a very weak Astra Major 1 week, so that was how I was able to stay in tier 21. But with 830, we're trivially going back up. We're in the very awkward zone where we can absolutely trivially go back up to tier 21, but we're always just a tiny bit shy from staying, so it's kind of awkward, but someday we will totally realize the dream of staying in tier 21 Mjolnir Strike permanently, Kappa. That will be a very strange day, because for random ranting sake, I would need to plus 10 Milla first off. That would really help me out with essentially clinching tier 21 light major. For Dark, I would need to plus 10 Bramamond. The plus 10 Milla would definitely help. And maybe get more merges on Sothis, although I'm not inclined to do that. So, I don't know. Because the other Dark mythics, you would need a dual skill to go places without heavily merging. That's like the problem with Bramamond. Is his BST is fine, but if we had like C dual infantry 4, which doesn't exist right now of course, then he could score a decent bit better. I think he would get an extra 6 points or something. But Astra Major is where we really have to work. The plan is plus 10 Plumeria. Might end up getting Regans along the way, so that would definitely help. We already have Duma at plus 10. So really, it's just getting a lot of Astra Mythics, and then Anima, we just need more Anima Mythics. We literally just have Duma and Mirabilis, and that's it. So, not ideal, but yeah, we're on quite a long road ahead to try and stay for the memes. I'm not actively actually trying to stay in tier 21 Mjolnir Strike, it's just that in the process of doing other things, you end up merging units that score in Mjolnir Strike, so that's how it goes. But that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye!